Hello and welcome back to the Karnak Carnival, a funhouse of horrors, if you want to call it, sort of. It's actually okay. This is going to be All Signs Next 48, but the energy that I'm feeling actually is that we're coming out of the Karmic Carnival a little bit. Today and possibly the blue moon on the 31st are kind of peaks of that energy, um, and I get the strong sense of well, okay, I've got several senses. One is a song. It's "Where My Demons Hide." I can't remember who did it, but it's "Don't get too close. It's dark inside. That's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide." The other song is by Andy Grammer, and it's called "I Will Fight for You." I will fight. I will fight for you. And that's a good one too. Um, and there's definitely, so I talked in earlier readings about a clash of the Titans aspect that's going on with a lot of the major planets and energies in the sky, and also with some of the comets and asteroids and things like that. And I think what we're really seeing right now is a lot of that playing out between us. I mean, politically, personally, internally, externally. Like, there's a lot of things coming together. It's kind of a, I don't even know. It's like push pull. It's like a dance, I guess. That's the best way I can think of it. Is it's kind of like a dance because nothing really sits very long, but it sits long enough to create energy and create phoenix moments. And like you probably go through things where you feel at one moment like you're happier than you've ever been, and another moment like you're dying inside. Like there's just all sorts of things going on. Even in my own behavior, it's been all over the place. And I have an Aries moon, and the moon is in Aries right now, so I have a feeling there's a lot of that Martian energy, that Mars energy. And if you think of the god Ares from the pantheon too, and there's a lot of this energy from Mars. It's a dual energy, which I have a feeling is because it's in the moon, and the moon is about duality and much more related to Cancer. But if you have Cancer and Aries placements, that probably affects you even more. But it's kind of this duality. It's all about the fight. But like Aries was the god of war, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he was always wanting to fight. It meant that he was aware of all aspects of a battle, small skirmishes, bigger battles, wars, things like that. And there's many aspects to wars and fighting, whether internally or externally. Like sometimes it's not about winning. Sometimes it's just about being willing to fight. Sometimes it's about recognizing when to give up the fight. Like was live another day, or to when to be willing to risk it all and take a huge leap of faith and just push it as far as you can go. And I know that the reading I did, the longer one for the portal, that the heart and soul portal that started yesterday, a lot of it is that energy too. And sometimes there was two cards in it, and one of them was like, there are times to just believe in love and don't act and don't do things. And then the other one was about like, just go with what you feel. Follow your faith. Follow your heart, even if it seems absurd, even if it seems like it's gonna break everything. Like, do it. So there's that dual energy in there, and both of them do very much have to do with fighting and war and things like that, especially internal wars, anything that has to do with mother wounds, father wounds. And especially I'm noticing a big theme with fears of abandonment, fears of humiliation, and being having to reveal feelings that we've held back, whether good ones or bad ones, especially if we fear that they might make us look weak. But because of all the Scorpio energy and the Libra energy going on, it's much harder now to hide them than ever. So my recommendation is don't. Just be honest about how you feel, because the likelihood is that even if you think you're putting on a good show to pretend like you don't feel anything, that actually you're really just revealing to other people how much you really care. Now, interesting enough, for the 4:44 on the clock. The tarot cards that we got for the next 48 hours. Oh, looky, the moon. and the Four of Cups. And these, now the Moon card is most strongly associated with Cancer, but it does relate to Pisces and Scorpio. But because of the combination with the Four of Cups, which is typically very Piscean, I'm getting a fair amount of Pisces energy off of this, which is, it feels about right too, because Neptune is in Pisces, which makes it exalted and extra powerful because Neptune rules Pisces. And that rules the 12th house, which actually, if you think of all the houses as a room or a space around a house, I usually think of Pisces as the yard. It's, it's where you have, like, think childlike adventures, or when you're a great grandparent and you're out there playing with great grandchildren. It's a place for fun and gardening and nourishing the soul and connecting with nature and things like that. But it can also be the deep depths of watery emotions. And so we have the Moon, which is it's confusion, it's faith, it's illumination, and it's revealing hidden enemies. There's also the constellation behind the Moon in that card is Capricorn, and I find no irony in the fact that this whole year, since January, most of the big planets that are part of the Clash of Titans have been in Capricorn. So this whole year has been supported by Capricorn energy, which really has to do with it's funny. It has to do with both masculinity and femininity and power, like how we use or do not use power. Are we going to be passive in moments when others need us because we might get hurt? Are we going to struggle to hold on to power because we don't want to lose? Are we going to be fair? Are we going to be just? And what will happen when Judgment Day comes, right? Ironically, I'm thinking that there might be a judgment portal coming up, maybe like 11/20/2020, or it might be that all the 20th days of this month have been judgment days. You should go back and look at what happened to you near the 20th of each month and let me know in the comments below if that seems fitting. In any case, with the Four of Cups, so it can be taken one of two ways. It can be a bratty withdrawal, like, I don't want to face this. I don't want to take that cup. I'm not ready to take that cup. I want to stare at these 3 cups I don't like. So it could be that you or someone is in a third-party situation, and they know that they need to listen to spirit, or if you're trying to talk to them, they know they need to listen to you, but they're still healing some inner child wounds, and so they're kind of being in this bratty way, and they might try to just not talk to you or not face you or something like that. And because of all this energy, I'd imagine that whatever it is that you say to them or have said to them is, it doesn't even have to be recently. It could be up to the last year, like the things that you've said to them, they're thinking about it and they're feeling it, but they don't want to show it or reveal it. And so they might kind of give you the silent treatment or only give you little small cups because they're not feeling like they're capable of being vulnerable just yet. And if they are, then just give them some grace and work on your own thing, unless you get a really big call from spirit or something, or you get synchronicities that say you need to act, because there are moments, so pay attention. Especially because the other meaning of the Four of Cups is that we're not listening to our intuition, and that we're likely focusing on either trying to fill other people's cups when we should fill our own, or on karmic third-party situations, or that we need to take the time to contemplate and think about what we're doing. Which is, honey, I'm saying a lot today. I haven't done that in a while. Anyways, and I'm getting a strong sense that there will be plenty of mindfulness and meditative states and emotional stuff in that, especially with the Moon and the Four of Cups. And it might even be that either you offer somebody a small cup that's like, you want this cup? It's kind of an Aries Pisces mode. It's like, here's a cup and it's full of emotion. You want it or you don't want it? Like, it's time to make a choice. Are you going to keep looking at those 3 cups that you don't even like, that aren't fulfilling you? Or are you gonna take this cup I'm offering you, buddy? And the other side of that is kind of this oscillating energy of like, I really want that cup, but I have 3 cups here that are it feels like more. Like, even if the one cup is full of every wish and every fulfillment, sometimes ego makes us feel like to have 3 cups that are, that are not even half full, that we have to constantly fight to keep full. It still feels like we have more than we would have if we chose the one. And that might be true. You really can't know, especially with the moon card in there. A lot of that is about learning not to fear the unknown. So you just kind of got to follow your heart. In any case, I don't know how long I have on storage on here, and we've got some extra cards because of something weird that happened. Anyways, the homophone cards that we have, the first one we got is 1, which is this. It's blue ribbon in reverse. So you or someone else may be feeling like you lost something, or that you're about to lose something. And the other card we got is fir, but it's a tree. And I have a feeling that the loss will feel like something to do with stability, roots, family, strength, flexibility, and likely ceremony, some kind of ceremony. It might be either way. There's some sort of loss to do with it. It could be the family tree, ancestry, or it could be that we need to let go of something in order to have all those things. Like, either way, and especially with the moon is about choice too. So with the moon and the 4 of Cups in there, we got choices, and it seems like a lot of us are in a position of kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That is kind of that 4 of Cups too. And today is kind of one of those days, or the next 48 hours, and probably the last week and the week following it even, is about, you got to put both feet in somewhere, somehow. Like, you got to, like, even if you change your mind later, which is fine, you got to put both feet in today. Anyways, so the shaman cards that I actually had, and this is funny because I was mentioning all the mouse and rat energy and things returning to you that you may have lost or had stolen or anything like that. And I find it funny, 2 things happened. One, I found 5 cards when I was looking for something else in the car. Oh, it's 12 on the minute there. And 5 is significant. It's with the pentacle. It's all 5 elements in there, including spirit. The other thing is there's been a fair amount of crow energy today and owl energy. And on this card, birds, freedom, we can see crows on there and an owl on there. We also see a hawk and a dove. And that's right, this morning I did see some Eurasian ringneck doves. And pigeons can also count as doves. They are pretty much doves. In any case, look for those energies and take a higher perspective, a long-term view rather than like a right now view, especially if you're making decisions now that will affect you later for sure. The next card we got is Journey, Imagination. She's tending an egg there. So there's something about this journey that has to do with freedom. And the next one we have is Buried in Earth, Transference. So definitely more of that mindfulness energy, family, collectiveness, and ancestors for sure. But it's also, it fits in with, oh wow, I got big tingles on that. It fits in with one of the cards that was for the Heart and Soul portal that talked about, like, don't be so afraid of the dark, and don't be assumed that darkness is bad or evil or anything like that, because it's not. In fact, seeds need to be buried in the earth in order to germinate and be able to turn into plants. And so, I mean, this could be, I love that it says buried in earth rather than like death or anything like that. And he's got a straw in his mouth. You see that? And this could also indicate, especially because it's a masculine figure in there, that there could be a fair amount of masculines who either are buried in like family obligations, likely in karmic third-party situations, and or in others, but they're buried in the weight of others, and they need to be able to come out of that. And once they do, they're going to need to have time to recover from that. And energy is energy. So you even if you identify as feminine or outside of the gender binary, you might still need that too. Like we all experience a balance of all things. but it's also, I think, a sign of show of support from ancestors, and that, like, the things that are happening, even if they seem absurd or weird, are likely, there's more to it than you know, and you don't need to know, and it will be revealed to you afterwards when you let go of needing to know and control everything, which is a large part of that moon card too. Just have faith in spirit, even if you don't always have faith in yourself or in others, even if you feel like you screwed it all up, just go with it. The other one is staff foundations, just kind of a wand. I mean, it's got a wand in it and feathers, which are both related to fire and the sacral chakra, and kind of a cloaked figure back there. I get the sense that it could be, well, it's a fair amount of shadow work, and it's raining in the card, and it has to do, and there's a lot of red, so I'd imagine that there's mother wounds going on in there in particular. It's about stability, and there's likely, it also fits in with the Scorpio energy. There's some shadowy figures about, and they may be messing with your foundations, or they may be assisting in your foundations. You don't know. I'm kind of getting another, actually, now that I think about it, there's 3 images of wands in here too, and the 3 of wands is about either waiting for something to manifest or something manifesting. So we may start seeing the things manifest. It also has to do with communication. So from now to the next 2 days, which goes into our blue moon, we might start seeing more communication and more things manifesting, and a heightened sacral chakra energy. Oh wow, I just realized this. So this is the Dreamweaver card, accessibility, and it's got an owl on it. And the irony is, too, I was doing some journaling and kind of seeing what the energies were this morning, and there was an owl, and it was out later in the morning than they usually are, that started hooting, too. And so, like, really, owls are often about seeing through the dark, and sometimes that's not easy, especially if we're trying to see with our eyes, because in the dark our human eyes don't function. And so you got to choose what you believe. Like, if you were in a room of total darkness and you couldn't feel any walls or anything, if you choose to believe that you're scared and that there's scary things in that darkness, then you're likely going to sit there and give up and never get anywhere, even if the doorway out of there was only 3 or 4 steps ahead of you. But if you choose to believe that you can find your way through it, then you can. And with most energies, whether like etheric or physical, whether we're talking about a person or an entity, it can only hurt you if you believe it can hurt you. And I feel like that's a really big theme too right now, is really, like, whatever it is that you feel like doing or not doing, remember that nothing can hurt you without your consent. And that's a big lesson, especially if you have attachment challenges, or are codependent, or are in toxic entanglements. Is remember, the only reason that they're able to hurt you is because you allow it. And a lot of times we hurt ourselves too, in doing what we're doing. So look within and don't be afraid of the dark, right? Now, I want to read... You know what? No, I'm not going to read the moon cards. We have the sun in Scorpio, and the moon is in Aries right now, and tomorrow we will be moved into the moon... is it in Aries right now? Well, I know it's in Aries right now. I thought the blue moon was going to be in Taurus, but it can't. It would be in Pisces. I'll have to double check that. Don't mind me. Anyways, I'm going to read the 2 cards that I pulled from the Divine Circus, though, and we'll go with that as our next 48. Now, one of the cards that came up was actually in the Heart and Soul Portal reading, Nebula Warrior. And I love that it's kind of an androgynous figure, but definitely more on the feminine side, and it says warrior because it assumes neutrality where we often don't assume neutrality, which could be a hint to the next 48 hours too. You never know. Something about things are not always what they appear to be, and sometimes it's best to change things up in unexpected ways and just assume the close. There we go. Okay, so Nebula Warrior is the 17th card, which is related to the Star card and is about wishes and guidance, balance, music, astrology, and most often related to Aquarius and Pisces. Oh, interesting. The police car just pulled up next to me. That's twice that I've seen that energy today. There might be some amount of that. That's very Libra related too, also, and Scorpio to a degree. But it's like justice energy, and also peacekeeping and rescuing. You know, having somebody come and help you when you need it, and protection too. It's protection energy. All right. There are advocates for love on this earth, those that are passionate defenders of the freedom for all beings to grow and fulfill their divine destiny. These warriors for the soul know they can either use darkness to serve the growth of the light, or allow it to consume their sense of hope, trust, and faith in the right outworking of the destiny of all things. You are being initiated in the ways of working with darkness constructively to become a soul warrior for all living beings. Fun, right? Some things in life are worth fighting for, but how do you fight with love? How do you fight without becoming bitter, hateful, tired, disconnected from the whole reason you needed to fight in the first place? To be a